Frenzy is where we're at. Fan Frenzy, where you, the fans, direct the conversation, and we've got quite a few. We might try and get into a couple of different ones because we, unfortunately, with the delayed release of our last episode, we had lots of great questions on the
lots from
last one. So we'll see how we're travelling, but we'll focus on Japan because they make the most sense.
I think I'll spend some time just writing replies back. So when I get a live one for you in this app,
we'll see how we
I'm
go.
going to dedicate a little bit of time the next couple of days to get back to them. All right, let's get into it.
All right. Now, I'm still a little bit limited in our Facebook use at the moment.
I'll start us off.
Go on.
All right, Oz is back. Oz gives us a race ranking of 6 out of 10. Strangely, just did not feel this race at all the weekend. Normally one of his most favourite races of the year, which I can kind of get around that too. I think we look forward to Japan for such a long time. The build-up is very, very good, but we didn't get much of that build-up, so I can kind of respect where you come from there, Oz. 3 to Max, 2 to Science, and 1 to Fernando. Duds Albon for putting his car in the position on the opening lap. He was never going around the outside there. Kind of agree with that. Dan for being so tentative into T1 and being out-muscled by Yuki when he had the perfect opportunity to be a lot more assertive himself. Agree with that too. And absolutely zero confidence in proceeding to do exactly what he was so scared of doing. Question. Does Dan or Logan go first? This coming from a massive Dan fan, but right now on the back of those McLaren years, it's just too frustrating to witness, and I'm getting embarrassed for him.
Oh, dear.
Sorry, Roger. I'm going to let you just... what do you reckon?
No, it's a frustrating patch. There's no doubt about it. But as I said in the main body of the episode, there's been a reason behind all of it, and it's not like there's been track limits, and there's been a couple of mistakes in there. Don't get me wrong. There's a couple of mistakes in there, but that's coming to grips with the car, and and like we said in the races, his racing is actually probably. His racing's generally slightly better than Yuki so far this year. It's just qualifying's probably let him down a little bit, but he'll come along. He was on it on the weekend. It just, unfortunately, that was a racing incident, and that's racing for us sometimes.
Cool.
Which one am I reading out? Because I'm a bit lost on this one.
I'll just keep firing through these then this weekend. Yeah. Just a quick question from Hans van der Neet. He said he heard that Max says for next year do Japan and China back to back. What do other drivers think about that? What do you think about that? Japan, China, back-to-back?
I'm gutted that we don't have any back-to-backs yet.
Yeah.
I feel...
I need one.
The first two were, but...
I'm ready for one.
I'm so annoyed that we're not racing in China this weekend. I'm really, really keen to get into China.
I like it, Hans. I think it's a great idea. I'd love to know your thoughts.
There'll be a complete reshuffle,
on that one.
There will be a complete reshuffle of the calendar as Australia's starting off, and they're trying to get a little bit of cohesion with the races. So I'll be interested to see how they make that happen, because they don't love coming to Australia and then having a back-to-back to go with it, because it's a bit challenging. So unless they decide, rightio, we are all going to Australia, then we're going to Japan, then we're going to China, it's going to be a little bit challenging.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Next question comes from Nat Pollard. She says, hope you're feeling better after Spicy Cop. She was distraught waiting for the pod to drop after the Australian GP. Sorry, Nat.
But I really feel for you, because I'm worried we've undercooked our last episode because we left so long.
Well, maybe we're back this
before
week.
we got to it. But
people love us, and we'll make up.
I was really keen to get into it too. So apologies for that.
Race ranking of 8 out of 10 for the midfield battles. She gave 3 points to Carlos. Purple Patch continues. 2 to Charles. Great time management, and 1 to Lando. Pretty good day at the office.
Don't mind him.
Dud of the day, Albon costing Williams a lot in repairs. I saw somewhere, and don't quote me on this, I reckon we're up to $7.8 million or something like that in just the repair bill alone.
Well, I think the repairs cost a whole lot more, because they've got to do the transporting of the chassis to the factory, get it fixed, and
a lot of money.
Get it back to the next
spot.
It's
a lot of money. Closely followed by his teammate Logan Sargent. He's no more competitive than Latifi. Ooh, don't know.
You're back.
You caught me on a bad week, Nat. He's got 2 weeks of just a free pass for me after Australia's binning. Question. The media speculation around Seb being a serious contender for Mercedes next year. It can't be truly serious. Don't get me wrong, I am a Seb fan, but if I was a young driver in F2 looking for an opportunity to step up to F1, how crap would it feel to see these windows of opportunity close in favour of bringing older drivers out of retirement? The success of Alonso coming back seems to have created an appetite for dusting off retired drivers. What are your thoughts on that? Are you taking an untried F2 driver, or are you taking an out-of-retirement Seb?
The F2 driver.
Ugh.
Every day of the week.
I'm taking Seb every day of the week.
There's an element that I love about Seb coming back because it gives us something great to talk about.
Yep.
It really gives us something great to talk about. However, it's just... He's not up to it. Well, sorry, he might be up to it. He might be up to it. But evidence would suggest that he was falling away. He maybe improved a little bit in his last year. So why do they think he's going to be any better than that? In machinery, it's not necessarily behaving itself anyway. And it's like, what, a 2-year, 3-year deal? Like, let's bring in some new talent. We have got a problem, and we've had long discussions over this.
Yeah.
But we have got a problem in giving people a crack in Formula One. Like, Logan Sargent's obviously had a crack in Formula One. Wasn't the best person to bring into Formula One.
Nicholas
Latifi came into Formula One. Wasn't the best person to bring into Formula One. It wasn't like they were the top of their game. Like, Piastri came in. Piastri's behaving and performing really beautifully. I think if we saw some Behrmans come in, we'd be looking at some pretty good ones. I mean, Antonelli is, by all reports, favourite for that seat, which blows me away. I can't understand why Mercedes wouldn't do the Williams thing and place him in a Williams or place him in a team and give him a couple of years before you put him in that hot seat and potentially destroy that driver. We've seen Red Bull do that over and over and over. I don't think that's a great idea. I'm all for him coming in with some good performance behind him, but I'd be placing him in Williams. I think the way that they dealt with the Russell situation, maybe they held on too long. Maybe he didn't need that long, but at least a year or two with another team before you put him into that hot seat. But yeah,
is an untried Antonelli better than an out-of-retirement Seb?
At this stage, I couldn't tell you. At this stage, I couldn't tell you.
No is the answer to that question.
Yeah.
Here are your F2 options. We're just going to throw some... I mean, not everyone will know a lot of F2 options.
But it shouldn't be F2. Well,
No,
let's not forget about Schwartzman. Let's not forget about Dragovic. Let's not forget about a few of these drivers who have performed year after year. Who won it last year? Name escapes me. But yeah, so there's a few that have already been through that process. I mean, tell me...
You got Lawson, you got Hauger, you've got Zane Maloney, you got Stoffel Van Dorn.
Yep.
You got Felipe Dragovic.
Yep.
You got Theo Pourchaire.
Pourchaire is who I was thinking of. Yep.
You got Giovinazzi for Ferrari. Some more likely to throw a Giovinazzi.
What about a Schumacher?
Yeah, I'm more likely to go Mick.
What about a Mick over Seb?
No. I'm more likely to go along the lines of a Giovinazzi.
Yep.
Like Le Mans winner, ex-F1 driver,
Yeah.
current Ferrari reserve driver.
Yeah.
Like that?
Yeah, no. Giovinazzi's been tried. He isn't the answer.
Alex Palou,
Yeah.
Mick.
I think there's plenty of options.
Yep.
I think there's plenty of options before Seb.
Yeah. Jack Doohan.
But I think there's also plenty of options within Formula One.
Yeah.
Within Formula One that you can bring into the big teams. I really feel like some of the smaller teams should be trying to bring on the drivers. I don't know. Yeah.
Don't know. Anyway, great question, Nat. Great question. Hero of the hour, Yuki and the Japanese fans. Yuki did his home crowd proud, and what a crowd they were. 100%. 229,000, biggest Japanese crowd in the last 3 years.
There's a real feel-good factor around Yuki at the moment. Like, even when... at the Australian Grand Prix, I just wanted to give him a fist pump and like a good work, Yuki. Like there is, like after that first race, which was a bit of a Yuki moment.
Yep.
I really quite enjoyed what he's brought to Formula One. Now it's only a moment away from seeing the old Yuki. Like, don't get like that's ingrained. I'm sure Max has got bad behaviour still in him. It's just that he doesn't need to show it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that I'm a big believer that'll come back out. But yeah. I'm with you.
Japanese fans, 100%. This is what I love about Japanese fans. The effort that they go to dress up.
Yes.
Like we saw Damon Hills,
Yes.
and we saw old school Schumachers, and we saw retro driver kits. We saw people with hats, with helmets, and your DRS work hats. And then, did you see that guy that had like the layers of kit. So it was Red Bull, and then his jacket came off, and the layer of his hat came off, and suddenly it was like, I love Fernando. And it's stuff like that, and it's all just, like the knitted dolls, and that is what I love about Japanese fans. And I think their love of everyone is so infectious. Like, you've got fans that just, they don't love a team or a driver, they just love the sport.
Yep.
And they love Formula One. And it's just, that's what I love about it. I love that you have fans that love the engine manufacturers. So you have Honda fans that they don't care who's in it. Just their love of Honda is so... Anyway, I know the Tifosi are religious, but I just think Japanese fans are the best fans in the world. The best in the world.
There you go.
Jordan Pancras.
Thanks very much, Lewis.
Thanks, Nat. Yes, that's good.
Thanks, Lewis, for that comment.
Yes, thank
about
you.
Best fans in the world.
They are the best fans in the world. Jordan Pancras, race ranking solid 8, 3 to Yuki, points at home, 2 to Sainz, another solid weekend, and 1 to Alonso, great drive all round. Dud of the day, hate to say it, but Dan, the accident was his fault, and I don't see how his F1 career gets extended at this rate. Yikes. Hero of the hour seems cliche, but got to give it to the awesome fans and fancy headgear. Not cliche at all. Another hero of the hour for me is Lando's helmet. I was just discussing that. Brilliant. Loved it. Question. Your lifetime pass plus travel to lodging to any Grand Prix of your choice. Which one are you picking?
Lifetime
pass. So does that mean I can go forever?
Plus travel.
I can go here forever?
Well, yeah, you can continue to go back there, I'm guessing.
Oh, good.
Which track do you go back to every year?
Wow, every year. Every year without fail.
I'm going to Europe somewhere because that would be a great place to go and visit every year.
Yeah. Maybe the Red Bull Ring? Like Austria?
Oh.
Like if I'm going every year without fail.
So I'm going to Spa because you can go to so many different spots. Belgium would be a nice place to be.
Austria never lets us down with a race.
No, it is a good race.
So that's why I would go every year.
And the other cool thing about Austria, I imagine, is you'd be able to see a lot of the track at any one point. Like, there's a few hills that you wouldn't be able to see over, but you'd be able to see lots of parts of the track, I would have thought, from lots of points.
Where are you going, Jordan? I'd love to know your thoughts. Where are you going for your one-off?
Just for the sake of like the fact that you're travelling there and all its expenses are paid, Monaco's a hard place to get to.
Yep.
Monaco would be a good shout too, I think.
Yep. Yeah.
Good question.
Good question. Let us know, John, where are you going?
Yep.
Kingsley, 3 to Max. Every now and then we have to give full points to the best driver and the best car. Fair to say nobody can beat Max, but they may be able to beat Red Bull on a bad day.
That's a good point. He's been the best driver so far this year.
2 to Yuki, home race and punching above his expectations. And 1 to Carlos for his continued presentation of his resume to all other teams in the paddock. Dud of the day, again, unfortunately, to Dan. Maybe not his fault, but the luck just isn't going his way. A younger Dan of days past would not have been there. Harsh, I know, but there it is. A couple of people pitting it on Dan.
A younger Dan wouldn't have been there. Thoughts?
No, because he would have been in a Red Bull at the front of the grid.
Yep.
So I don't know. I'm not sure on our listeners pinning it on Dan for that one.
Yeah.
It's a racing incident.
Yes.
Alex Wells. Race ranking, 7 out of 10. 3 to Max, just untouchable. 2 to Yuki, dropped down the order during the first stint, but rebounded well to reclaim the position and move up the points. 1 to Charles, amazing tyre management. Just a shame he couldn't hold on to that third place.
Yuki's race was a bit of a yo-yo, wasn't it?
Yeah. Dud of the day has to be Stroll. His little outburst towards the end of the race does not reflect well on him when Alonso in the same car is up front competing. How much different would the constructors look both this year and last if Aston had a better driver in that seat? Great question. Drastically different, Alex. Drastically. Jason Carter, 3 to Sainz. He just keeps sticking it up Ferrari. He got more points than both of the 2025 Ferrari drivers combined. It's a really interesting point because to lose your seat...
That's an interesting stat.
It's just going to do... Yeah, it's going to do one or two things. It's either going to knock you down and you're just going to slide off into the distance, or it's just going to reinvigorate you and just, you're there for you, which is what he is at the moment. He's there for me. Nothing you can do about it. You don't want me. Well, here's why you shouldn't Should have kept me. Great point, Jason. 2 to Yuki, a point at home Grand Prix, and 1. The dude on the green flag. He's been practicing this his whole life. I tip my hat to you, Jason. I have no idea what you're talking about.
I will look this up.
All right, you look it up while I'm going through. All right, I want to know, Jason. So the guy on the green flag, 1 point. Must have been an epically good flag wave. Dud of the day, Lewis. Would you like me to let my teammate go past me? Said no racing driver ever. He has given up. Yes, Jason, he is well on holidays. He's on long service leave, just at work. Should Williams be asking Albon to pay extra for accidents insurance? I saw a really, really great comment on the Williams Instagram page during the red flag, where someone wrote, if I was Logan, I wouldn't get out of my car in case I'm not allowed back in it. Which is a great point. I thought it was very, very good. I like that. He's stepping out of the red flag and then he's out for the week. How you going with that? You're still working through it?
Nearly there.
All right, I'm going to keep going through. You know where to look. I don't know where to look.
Continue.
All right, Paige. 3 to Leclerc, great time management and teamwork. 2 to Yuki, congratulations on a point at a home race and being the last RB standing. Science, flawless, and he's gorgeous.
Science is gorgeous.
Science.
I tend to agree with that.
Okay. The other day, George, the beautiful man, Russell. Poor racecraft, particularly the incident where he forced out our man Piastri off track.
No, I thought the whole lot was managed okay. I liked the little dive bomb.
I feel like Paige has been checking out all the drivers this weekend. Flawless Science, he's gorgeous. George, the beautiful man.
He is a beautiful man.
Yeah, you're right, Paige. Question, with the elaborate costumes that the Japanese fans bring to the GP, what would you wear if you attended the Japanese Grand Prix in person? I'd wear an oversized Lando head, so I'd look like a bobblehead. Sam would be forced to wear a Piastri head. I can't imagine they go down well with the crowd, Page, if you wore an oversized one. However, it's a great question because...
No, coming from the person who's happy to have flares in the crowd, you can't see anything.
Flares are fine. I recently purchased on Etsy, Page, an oversized retro Red Bull jacket. So that's
I don't think it's oversized.
Yeah, listed as oversized. So it's like right in early, not early, I'm going to say Mark and Seb days.
Does an oversized mean
Peppy
bigger?
Jean. Yes, it does mean bigger.
Bigger than what? You're not...
I'm just saying, bigger than the standard size.
Okay.
Anyway... That's what I'd wear. That's what I'd wear, Paige. Retro kit.
Yeah, retro's cool.
Retro kit.
I need to I need to go find some retro.
Yeah, that's what I'd be wearing, Paige. Anything retro. Right, you found this green flag.
I've got the green flag, man. Now, this is very much against my podcast rules. Isn't
I know
it,
you always constantly.
So people, you need to go and look this up.
Right,
Jason has promised. No, you don't need this. A look.
All right.
Oh. So usually they walk.
I've got my glasses on. You know, I'm practically blind.
God. What's the point in showing this?
No.
So you know how the green flag man usually walks across the back of the field, waving it.
Yep.
This man is stood in front of. So I'll commentate it. So he stands in front of the safety car, dead centre, waits for everyone to watch, and then gives a great shake.
Yes,
gives a great flag, and then struts off. Well, there's not a hurry to get off. Different.
That's very good. I like that.
Good get, Jason.
Good.
Well done.
That's incredibly good. Gee, really? Yeah, he nailed it, didn't he?
Oh, I like it. It's worth watching. It's only impressive. It's only impressive if you know what the standard procedure is. But there was a real... I don't want to sound like I'm stereotyping Japanese, but there's a real samurai style to it, isn't it?
It also reminds me, though, if H was doing that, if my little boy was doing that, and I said, go and wave the flag, and he just
gave it everything.
Just in one moment, look at this, and absolutely gave it 100% and then walked off. That's what it reminds me of, too. It's awesome.
I love that it's not going with procedure.
Yeah, I think. But then also, just see marshals, one other thing that, Japanese marshals are a little bit different, but they have those traditional brooms as well, which I love that. I love the theatre that is Suzuka.
Yeah,
but even with the carbon fibre coming off the accident, they're there with bags picking it up. You don't see that anywhere else.
Oh, well, no, you don't see the bags, but you do see different types of brooms at different tracks.
But it's good. I like that. It's really good. It does. It's excellent. It reminds me of my 3-year-old doing a flag.
It's a great get, Jason.
Yep. Hey, Dad, watch me do the flag.
Yeah.
Okay, mate.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Very good.
That's very good. I'm going to watch that when I go home. Paul Cook. I've had a few drinks as he's opening.
Oh,
just
good
sort of to
on.
prepare yourself.
Excellent.
Really prepare yourself. I was going to say it's long. It's not. Took some notes, and I'm just going to copy and paste.
Oh,
So this is what Paul's notes look like when he's had a few. Enjoyed the race, 8 out of 10. It's very short and sharp to the point.
Mm-hmm.
Dud, Mercedes pit wall for tyre strategy. It's not like Suzuka's a new track. Why did they think a one-stop approach could possibly work? Well, I guess, Paul, because Ferrari made it work. So it did. It had the potential to work. I guess they are desperate. Dud, Sargent.
yes, they are desperate.
Nice. Team player, young American driver, completely unable to compete.
Yeah,
That's
I like that.
sort of-
That's true.
Yep.
Yep.
Good. Summary, only one question. Who signs Science? Oh, surely only one question. Who signs Science? Sauber do for Audi.
Sauber desperately do.
Yep.
I wouldn't discount Red Bull at this stage, but Perez is making it a little tricky for them.
All right, next question. All science related. What teams can't afford him?
No one.
No one. What team does he knock back?
Possibly Sauber, if Red Bull come knocking.
Red Bull, Mercedes.
Possibly Mercedes.
Yep. Who is left?
Hang on, are you saying he knocks back Red Bull and Mercedes to go to Sauber?
Yes.
You're an idiot. They're currently
All right.
at the back of the grid.
I know.
And they haven't been any further
But
up.
they're going to be.
Oh, I know, but does Science have time in his career to spend the years? Like, it might only be 2 or 3 at best. Does he have 2 or 3 years of not really competing to maybe then have
Yes.
2 or 3 years of being competing? But there's no
Yes.
guarantees they're going to be at the front of the grid.
See, I think differently there.
Yeah, no, well, I'm optimistic, but when's the last time you've seen a team really take off like that?
But then when's the last time we've seen someone with pedigree in motorsport like Audi?
Like almost your best example's Red Bull. Would you agree?
I think Mercedes are your best example because they come with that strong.
So how long did they
racing
take?
Oh, not that long.
Yes, they did. They did Schumacher years, and
There's only a couple.
yeah,
There's only a couple.
See, there's a few years there,
It
and
wasn't a 5 or 6 project. It was only a couple of years, and then bang, it was utter domination. Yeah, and they had the history and the pedigree and the infrastructure and the know-how to go racing.
it was quite a few years. I mean, Seb won 4.
And even Audi is more. Audi, I would say Audi are more successful than Mercedes, more so
I'm
by a long one.
I'm with you, but yeah, I don't know. There's no guarantees. I think if he can get in a Red Bull, you've got to get in a Red Bull at this stage of your life. I think that goes for everyone.
All right, very good. I think that's answered your question, Paul. It was short and sharp. I
liked it. I liked it. It was a good.
I like the sort of flow of a paragraph that people sort of write in. It makes me feel good.
No, punchy. I like it. Anything else?
What kind of drinks do you think he was having?
Who?
What's
the drinks about?
Paul Cook. Sam Pearsall's comment.
Oh,
He
I
said
see.
that you will most likely ask what drinks I had.
Oh, I see.
Oh, so he's answered it. Sorry, he's answered it.
Oh, what's he had?
He's had a beer, a bottle of red, a bourbon, and a Coke,
Oh, well done.
and a sore head this morning. There you go.
Oh, I like it.
All right, Sam. Oh, goodness me, Sam. Maybe Sam should have a couple of drinks because this is a novel. Hero of the hour, Japanese fans. Quick change, Red Bull to Aston Martin fan. That's that guy I was talking about. Ferrari Samurai with the painted horse heads. DRS hat guy pretty much every year. Respect for all drivers 2024. Yep, saw that one too. Fans that love Lewis Hamilton waving flags rather than being keyboard warriors against Max fans. The surprising amount of fans with high-quality, well-edited photos of drivers surrounded by cherry blossoms. Good. Did you see little frames with like tinsel on it? I like that.
It did my head in. I was like, why are they talking about these cherry blossoms? And it's the first time I've seen the cherry blossoms. The first time I've seen the cherry blossoms.
Really?
I was like, you guys are there every year, but then it dawned on me, they've moved the Grand Prix to the start of the year, and so they don't get to see the cherry blossoms.
Right. That's exactly
and
right.
so I was like, oh, I get it now. Yeah, so anyway, I was a bit slow to that party because I was like, they're there every year. Crofty, what are you talking about? But no, cherry blossom.
I have
season.
cherry blossoms at my house.
Yes, yeah.
They look beautiful, but man, I'm going to get hay fever shortly.
Yeah.
Dud of the day, just the incident itself that happened between Albon and Ricciardo. It's a racing incident that's understandable, but the pure accident or the accidental awkwardness it brings. Ricciardo needs a better result and to honestly prove that he has a racecraft to have a seat at any team for next year. He won't lose his seat this year, but boy, his stocks are not high for RB, VCarb or anyone else. He's essentially 0-4 to Tsunoda because the team orders in Bahrain, so crashing in Japan is not great. Albon was already racing in Sargent chassis and needed to secure 10th place point to make everything worthwhile. But by being in that accident, he not only lost the point to Tsunoda, but if the chassis is damaged heading towards China, what does Williams do now that Albon has damaged both prime chassis? Otherwise, the race quite didn't have the dud in my eyes. I understand why people are dudding Mercedes, but they're the third or fourth fastest car, and they placed where they needed to. Question. With your last episode talking about the push to pass, DRS and everything else being touted as making F1 racing more exciting moving forward, what do you think is the essence of Formula One compared to other motorsports? And what Liberty Media needs to preserve? That's a good question. I think the essence is the historic racing tracks. That's what they need to preserve. They need to not push it in the novel street circuit
no, I think
direction.
Isn't he talking about, like, what's the essence of Formula One? Like, what do we want the cars, what do we want the competition to be?
What it is. Yeah, but then the next question is what do they need to preserve?
Yeah, okay.
That's what they need to preserve.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. It's the history.
Look, I mean, you can't. You would lose all of your major teams if you went to a standard Newey design. So that's got to go. Even if you did a Newey design and made everyone build their own engines, it's still that'll be nearly the worst case scenario, because then just the fastest engine wins. And so it has to be this design situation, which puts us in this situation where we've always got a clear leader. When we change up the rule set, sometimes we get a different clear leader. We get some areas of domination. I think this playing with the rules, and unfortunately, is the right answer.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think back to 2021, when we had that huge finish, we desperately needed to continue on with that rule set for another few seasons, because we finally got all the teams to converge, and we see this all the time. We'll get all the teams to converge to get this package to be the best possible, and then we go and design a new package, and then someone else is out in front again. And so it's challenging, because you want teams to be designing new, but I don't know. So yeah, the essence of it is the design with the driver skill. So it's the design of the team with the driver skill, and that is the essence of Formula One, and it's always been that way. Our man, the Brabhams, Jack Brabham built his own car and raced in it. And that was like where Formula One started, and that's sort of the essence of it still today. It's just it's done on a hugely high-tech scale.
Good.
Okay.
Adam Hughes, last one, race ranking 6 out of 10. 3 to Carlos, massive race. 2 to Charles, massive stint. And 1 to Valtteri. If only the pit stops were normal. Massive drive.
Yeah, I was, as we're talking about, I was trying to work out where he would have been. Yeah, this season without all these pit stops.
Yes.
Anyway.
Stake has speed. That's a good point, Adam. I think it does. I'm just not quite sure how much.
Yeah.
Dud of the day, stewards. Every race this year, passports checked, determines penalties. I would assume he's talking about... Yeah, George's. I like that, Adam. I'm kind of starting to get on board that one too.
Oh, boy.
Second
Adam
one.
just works away at us, and then he gets one of us, doesn't he?
He does. He got me this way. Second one, Alex. What a dumb spot to put your car. Nothing good was going to come out of there. Adam, I kind of agree with you there too, mate.
But the problem was it was a good spot for the first corner, and then it just ended up not being a good spot. But there was the ability to draw. One of the things you'll see with Piastri is he'll give up a corner too quickly, and it frustrates me a little bit.
But he'll work it back.
Well, he doesn't, and that's the part that frustrates me a little bit. Is that, like, at a start he will drop in behind a driver and not fight just a little bit more for that corner because of the risks that are involved.
You're more likely to win.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
No, you can't win.
You're more likely to lose on lap one than you are to win.
Yes,
so
you can't win on lap one, but you can lose a race. And that's Oscar's motto in racing.
I like that.
And it's great, but sometimes you're just like, oh, I just wish he pushed a little bit further. And Albon was in that situation. He probably should have dropped him behind Ricciardo. It wasn't like he was up alongside him. He should have dropped him behind Ricciardo, but there's an element of me that, you know what? But this is racing. Like, this is racing. These things will happen. I'm not putting blame on Albon. I'm not putting blame on Ricciardo.
Question from Adam. Question/statement. Last one. If Aston had a second driver, would they be ahead on McLaren?
Oh,
yes.
No.
Yes. Yes.
What was the driver? What sort of driver? A different.
If Aston had a second driver.
Yeah, just in general.
Yeah, just in general.
No, I think they're behind McLaren, but ahead of Mercedes comfortably.
Yeah, I'm going to say yes, but not by much, by like a point or so. Stroll's outburst was very interesting, he says, at the home of Honda. Early PR work. For those that don't know, Aston are going to have the Honda powertrain 2026 coming up, and saying that what they've got currently is sluggish and slow. Well, I don't know. Fernando would probably disagree with you there. But yes, probably a good PR stunt, Adam. I don't mind that comment there.
What are they running at the moment? Mercedes.
They're running a Merc at the moment. Anyway, so yes, so that is Fan Frenzy.
Very good.
For this week.
What a wonderful group of fans we do have.
Yep, and thanks to everyone from the other week. I think I will go back and just type away and respond to some of your questions too.
Wonderful.
As took time to write those in.
Yep.
Thanks.
Yep. All right. Lovely. We will. We'll get into it. Thanks very much, and speak to you again soon. Goodbye.